Hello, hello, hello. This is, Disgruntled Elk back with another Hammer video. But, I'm thinking I might change some things out. So, look at the sideboard. This is the week after the top 8 finish at the Dreamhack Event in Dallas. Nothing super notable there. I beat decks that the deck is well positioned against, so Blue-Red Murktide. I got lucky in the mirror match because a lot of times that's what you want to do in the mirror match. And then I died, to a good player, and combination of my luck kind of ran out, and that's just what happens. But can't be disappointed with another top 8. In terms of the list, we're basically looking at the same. So 6 zeros and a Paradise Mantle as the third drum. 4 hammers, pretty stock. 2 Steel Shaper's Gift. I think the card's really good. And then Reality Chip Cauldron. I cut the Nettle Cyst because the card just continued to be incredibly medium. So I think you can play it. I think you cannot. I think it's completely up to you. 4 Blacksmith Skill because it's real dumb. The card's just so dumb and it keeps winning me games. So it's hard to play less for me. 2 March is my removal spell of choice because it is good in the mirror and against any Saga deck for the most part, and it's just pretty flexible. Hushbringer is very good. Spell Pierce, we decided to move 1 to the main so we could have room for another piece of hate in the sideboard. And so this is kind of what I get the most questions on because Needle and Relic are also pretty self-explanatory. So I want Hate Bears more than Teferi because Teferi can't hold a hammer. And so post-board, oftentimes you're bringing out creatures. I want to have a density of bodies. But at the same time, it's like, all right, how many Lavinias do we want? How many Meddling Mages do we want? How many Hushbringers? So for the event, I decided I wanted 2 to 3 Hushbringers, 2 to 3 Lavinias, and somewhere between 0 and 1, maybe 2 Meddling Mage. I decided to go harder on Hushbringers because it's good against any of the Elementals decks. It's also good against Yawgmoth because, of course, it stops the death trigger, so Undying doesn't work. If you ever put a hammer on the Hushbringer, you're probably just going to win the game. It's also good against just random things like humans, merfolk, goblins, and those are starting to pick up a little bit, I think. And so Lavinia is obviously excellent against the Cascade decks, so Living End specifically is the one you really want her for, because if you can stick her, they basically can't win without getting her off the board. And because we have the 3 Giver of Runes combined with the 4 Blacksmith Skills, it's usually not too hard to protect her if you can get her into play, if they don't grief her. Poor lady with the hood. And so I like Lavinia against like Amulet Titan as well because it stops their pacts from tutoring up a Titan, and it also stops their Force of Vigors from going. And so Lavinia is very good. But I like Meddling Mage because, 1, against the Cascade deck, it's going to do basically the same thing. I don't think we care about stopping Rhinos from coming down that much. But stopping Living End from coming down is obviously huge. It's also good against Titan. It's much better against Titan than, say, Lavinia is. And because we have the Hushbringer, and I like Lavinia and Hushbringer against the Elementals decks, because obviously Lavinia counters any spell that you don't pay mana for, so the Evoked Elementals, that's 5 Hate Bears for the 4-color piles, and I don't think you want that many more cards because you're also wanting to bring in Blacksmith Skills, and so it's hard. I want 2 Spell Pierce in the 75, and I think it's one of the more main boardable cards out of these. A lot of the times people will ask why Spell Pierce over the Blacksmith Skill in the main. It's because Spell Pierce is almost always good game 1, whereas against something like the Mirror or a more proactive deck, Blacksmith Skill oftentimes game 1 is not really where you want to be. That being said, Blacksmith Skill is insane post-board because everyone has removal, everyone has interaction, and so I like Blacksmith Skill more post-board. Still not sure if the Spell Pierce is correct, but that's kind of where we're at. I kind of want to swap it back into the sideboard, cut maybe to leave the Meddling Mage, and just throw in like a Ginger Brute because Cookie Monster's sweet. But yeah, other than that, I'm just going to run a league. We're going to hop into it, and I will see y'all in round 1. All right, so we are back for round 1. We did fortunately win the die roll, so we will in fact be on the play. So this is one of the reasons I really like Giver in the deck, because ordinarily this hand would be very kind of medium. But because we have Giver into Stoneforge for Kaldra, I think it's totally reasonable, especially on the play. Obviously, if they have a discard spell, that's not great. But, I think you keep this certainly in the blind. Opponent mulligans to 6. It's kind of always what you want to see. What we call plan A. All right, so it looks like they kept 6. So I'm going to lead with the Seachrome Coast here, play the Giver. and pass the turn. I leave a Seachrome Coast because it's not super likely that they have Blood Moon. Especially, well, of course I say that, but okay. Monastery Swiftspear. Okay, so it's just burn. I would, so I don't think we block here. I think we just take the 1. We get to play Stoneforge next turn and kind of go from there. If they have a gut shot, it's so bad for us to do that. And so the question here is, do we want to Saga or do we want to Flooded Strand? So they're either a prowess deck or a burn deck. If they are a prowess deck, then the Saga is probably the plan. Could also be the Strand. Either one's pretty good. If they are a burn deck, then we probably want to just go Saga. We're going to miss out on a construct if we actually get to untap with the Stoneforge is the only problem, but I think we care more about getting a cheap Shadow Spear than we do getting a, get the free Shadow Spear. Close. Very close. I think I'm going to do, because I do just want to get Cauldron into play. It's also reasonable here to want to get Reality Chip since it is a big blocker, but because it's very likely that our Stoneforge lives, I think it's silly to throw away the opportunity to just put this guy Inspiring Vantage. Still could be either deck. Okay, so spike me, fine, and we're probably just gonna, okay, Skewer, yep. Not happy about it, but it is what it is. So we're gonna untap. Esper Sentinel is an excellent because now we get to get a Sentinel put in the Cauldron here. And so the reality is it's possible we're supposed to not even crack in here. But I think I am. Because it's also reasonable for us to just block with the Esper Sentinel and protect with the Giver. So we can just get in. Now we are going to get the Shadow Spear off of the Saga, of course, and go ahead and just put it on the here to gain 6 life. So now we are definitely blocking here. Because we don't really care about the Sentinel or the Giver, I think it's completely fine. This, if they have a path or something for the Cauldron, then it is what it is. I'd rather gain the life here. Okay, so this might come up. So if they have like main deck Deflecting Palm, right, we can, so we're going to put the Shadow Spear on the Cauldron, attack with the Cauldron. If they Deflecting Palm the Cauldron, we probably just give the Germ protection from colorless, and that makes everything fall off, so we take 0 damage. I will go ahead. We're going to grab the Spear here. Put that on. An opponent's just not in a great spot, right? Okay. And I don't think there's a reason not to crack in with the Sentinel. It's 7, so that makes us a 2-turn clock regardless. Yeah. Okay. Skull Crack me. It's a good one. So they do have to pay 1, or we get to draw a card, which means they pay a life 2. Okay. So they still take 7 damage here, putting them to 7. And so now we can also just put this Shadow Spear over here to set up a really nice block. As tempting as it is to just put it on the Sentinel for the extra tax, having the Stoneforge is certainly a better blocker because we just get to freely block. They have to cast 2 spells to kill the Stoneforge. In reality, I am probably supposed to just attack with the Stoneforge last turn and leave the Sentinel back. That way we can put the Shadow Spear on the Sentinel. And so here I am going to just block with both creatures. I don't really care that much about losing the Giver at this point or the Stoneforge. This will make sure we can't die to 2 burn spells in their hand. Okay, or they're just conceding. That works too. So yeah, let's go to post board. So it's a burn deck. The Skewer and the Skullcrack are kind of the giveaways, as well as the Lava Spike. So against them, I like some number of skills. And I was bringing in March for a while because it can be nice to plink an Eidolon or something. I don't think you need it. I think you just board pretty light in this matchup. I think Chip's pretty bad. I like Cauldron as just an indestructible threat because they're usually bringing in stuff like, what's it called? Like, Smash to Smithereens or Wear Tear. Gobbles all that up, no problem. On the draw, I like to trim some number of Sentinels because I think they're a lot worse, and then kind of go from there. Hushbringer is reasonable to bring in because it is a lifelink threat, but I think if you're equipping a hammer to something, you're generally in great shape anyway. So I like Blacksmith Skill because protecting Shadow Spear often wins the game, and I think I'm fine with this. I'm going to keep the Chip in on the draw. I haven't done this before, but I kind of want to try it out because it is a 0/4. I'm fine just playing it as a 2-drop that's going to eat. It's going to soak a lot of damage. But yeah, so we'll go from here. Okay, so what we have here is an incredibly easy mulligan. Oh man. yes, this is a guarantee. I'm gonna keep and I'm gonna bottom Flooded Strand. And I think we're just gonna try to hope they don't goldfish us. They did mulligan to 6 as well, so that helps. Any creature we draw is gonna be a good shot. Okay, well, they didn't have a creature either, which makes me much happier. I'm just gonna play this tap because we're gonna need a blue source this game if we draw our Spell Pierce or Reality Chip. We're probably gonna need that land, and I'm not gonna try to kill them with Ink Moth this turn. Okay, that kind of stinks, but whatever. So I will play the Ink Moth here. I'll play the Sigardazade. Hope. It's unlikely that we die. And if they tap out, they die. I'm pretty happy with this. Like I said, this hand is a little greedy. Not terribly worth. Okay, so I'm just gonna play Plains, and I think past the turn here, I'm fine animating, blocking, and eating the Eidolon and gaining 10, 11, 12 here. And I will just make sure I actually move to blocks, block the Eidolon. I'll throw one hammer in. Yep, I'll take 2 here. Of course, we can totally get blown out. It is, yeah, this was probably incorrect. So let them take 2. Do we put the other hammer in? I think we do, because we need to kill this thing. This was probably, I was probably just, maybe I wasn't supposed to keep the hand. Either way, this is going to eat more spells. Stopping the Eidolon is also a really big game, because now even if we just attack with the Ink Moth, put a Shadow Spear on it, that's not a terrible spot to be. We have a lot of redraws, of course. I'm just going to play out all my spells right here. I think I will crash in, try to gain a couple points of life here. Okay, so crash in with the Ink Moth, throw the Shadow Spear on there. And if they want to Deflecting Palm this, that's fine, but also gaining 2 life is really good here. Going to 10 is a lot more. Okay, Skullcrack me. Sure. So now we can start. So they only have 2 cards in hand. I'm not happy with my spot, but it could also certainly be much worse. Okay, well, they drew another land. That's what we like to see. Give me a creature. Interesting. I think we just go for a Reality Chip here. So we can animate. So we can use a white mana to get a Steel Shaper's Gift for a Reality Chip. And then animate, tap both. I don't feel like we're supposed to. I feel like we're just supposed to gain a couple points of life here, but could totally be wrong. I am ready for that eventuality. So they kept it incredibly reactive this game. Okay, Deflecting Palm. So really glad we didn't go for the kill. We're probably dead. If they have any burn spell, we die and they get a redraw here. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, so that is good to know for game 3 that they are willing to just keep an incredibly reactive hand. If I had known that, I would have kept all the Esper Sentinels for sure. That said, they are all gonna go back in. I'm going to cut the Memnites. They kind of suck. And I think we can cut a Drum on the play. I like Paradise Mantle because it's a 0 that can draw a card. But yeah, I think this is fine. We have 1 more body than before. Knowing that they are willing to play a really reactive hand, I'm happy with the extra Blacksmith skills. Just kind of go from there. All right, yes, I will be on the play. And I'm going to snap this hand off. This hand's insane. I wish this were a basic Plains, but can't be too upset. So we're just going to go, probably, if we hit a second white source, I will go Fountain, Esper Sentinel into Aid Sentinel on turn 2. But I just want to get the Sentinel down ASAP, kind of go from there. All right, and of course this Stoneforge is going to threaten a lot of power very quickly. Okay, Colossus Hammer is on top. I don't hate that. Wow, I think I'm just gonna hammer here before they get their Eidolon down. This means since we're playing 1 mana spells, we're gonna gain 2 life effectively. We're gonna draw a card off of any non-creature they play, and it means Stoneforge can go grab either hammer or of course can grab Shadows. Of course, this can grab both as well, but Stoneforge is going to do that 1 turn quicker. So now they're not in great shape. Okay, that's what you like to see. Oh man, and 1 land too. Wow. All right. I think I am content to do this Stoneforge and go get a Shadow Spear. This will force them to let us draw a card, and then next turn we can also put in the Cauldron. We're also getting a hammer off of the Saga. We're in pretty incredible shape here. Well, I'm gonna do this. Okay, and sometimes that's just how it works. I kept a fairly slow hand. Game 2, they kept an incredibly reactive one, and they ended up winning. But okay, so we will see y'all in round 2. All right, we are back for round 2 after winning round 1. Looking at the hand, we are on the draw, unfortunately, but we do have Sentinel, which is likely going to draw a removal spell to it. They mulligan to 6 cards. We also have Saga as a backup plan. We have Chip for a long grindy plan, and if Stoneforge lives, we just get to put Cauldron in. So I'm going to keep this hand and see how it goes. We're against Connor, not sure how to pronounce it, but see how the game goes. All right, perfect. Living End, no, no. Well, don't like that. That makes me sad. Well, at least we get to deploy multiple threats. I am tempted to just play out this Stoneforge or play out this this Saga on 1, and then just start making constructs on 2, because we get to play Memnite and Esper Sentinel. I'll go. All right. At least, like, against Living End, you need to at least force them to Living End as quickly as possible. So, well, we have a lot of cards in the sideboard, at least. three specific, and we're just cracking in for 1 here and making a big constructy. Like, I'm not excited about the spot because they could just go off. All right, that's 3 really good, 4 really good, 1 good one, 3 pretty medium one. At least if they, okay, so they're gonna grief us, fine. So what do you take, opponent? Probably the Steel Shaper's Gift, because you don't want to take, like, I mean, you can take Cauldron if you want. That might be correct, but if they take Stoneforge or Chip, we get that back into play off of the Living End, which is not really where they want to be. Okay, so they took the Cauldron, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so this is a very good draw for them. And I don't think there's a 2 do that yet, so definitely floating a mana here. All right, yep, this is kind of what happens. Now they get to grief me, but we do get to shuffle off of the Architects, which is why I waited. I can't imagine, I mean, there's a world in which we can win. It involves certainly drawing Pure Steel Paladin. It's kind of step 1. Yep, took the Steel Shaper's Gift. Okay, so they're targeting me. I'm cool with that. And we are just going to shuffle. So they have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19 power in play. That's 21 power. I will make a 2/2. The Powerful Bear. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a 1. Fortunately, I don't think that's what's going to make the difference here. So I don't think we're supposed to make a construct. I think we are just supposed to float and deploy as many burrs as we can. And I'm pretty sure we need to get Mer here, potentially. Might be Shadow Spear. Yeah, we can get a, okay, so get Seachrome Coast in there. Deploy probably just Esper Sentinel and Reality Chip, potentially. We could also, I'm gonna deploy Chip here. It's also reasonable to play Stoneforge, go get Hammer. This is really tough. This turns it into a 4/5, which is a much more reasonable size. Help if we tapped correctly. I don't think this makes a huge difference. Wrong. Okay. It's not terribly exciting. Unsurprisingly, no attacks. Yeah, so we were probably supposed to play the Stoneforge, go get Hammer, because we need to draw Paladin in order to stabilize. Okay, so we get to pretty freely block. So that's 9, 10, 11. We can block here too, just to absorb some damage. Take 3, 6, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Yeah, we get to eat a creature, and yeah. Okay, yeah. So they're just doing this for the, let's see, 3, 7, 11, yep, Exacxies. Because they just won't cast the Living End. They get to pump their team, and then we take exactly lethal damage. All right. So these 3 are great because they all stop the stupid Living End card. Pell Pierce is great because it stops Living End on the stack. Blacksmith's Bill is great because it protects Lavinia and Meddling Mage, as well as potentially like an Ursa Saga or like a Relic if we play out early into a you know, Force of Vigor or Foundation. So definitely these 9, and we are cutting the Esper Sentinels because they don't do anything. Chip, the game's generally not going to go that long, and if it does, I don't know, it puts us in a weird spot anyway. Not super huge. So I've in the past considered keeping like some number of drums. I think you can certainly trim the Ornithopters. I think you trim Ornithopter over Memnite in this matchup, post board because a lot of times you'll like play one of these hate bears and you just start getting in for chip shots. And Ornithopter doesn't do that. And I think it's fine to trim a Steel Shaper. I've started leaving in more of these drum effects post board because you just have to hit blue on 2 because that's let's try the thing and hope it works. One thing I want to point out about this matchup is that you cannot keep a hand, like unless you're killing on turn 2, you cannot keep a hand that has no disruption. So I would love to keep this hand, but it has no white sources, even though it has the relic. I don't think it's good enough. And this hand's much better. We get to just turn 1 drum, probably bottoming the second paladin. Turn 1 drum, turn 2 Lavinia Aid. And so if they don't grief us on turn 1, then we force them. So if they grief us on turn 2 and not turn 1, that means they put a Pure Steel Paladin into the yard because we've been able to clear our hand of any non-creatures. We will keep this one, put a Pure Steel on the bottom. They also mulligan to 6. So at least I think we're less likely to get completely savagely blown out. Always a chance. I'm going to lead with the plains actually, because I don't want to show them. I guess the drum shows them that I have blue anyway, but think about it. I think I'm okay with this. So obviously we're hoping to draw, hammer or a protection spell for this. What you got for me, opponent? What you got? That's 1. Okay, 2 fewer black cards. What do you have? Okay, yeah. So we're just going to jam this Lavinia. And if this Lavinia sticks, it means they can't force of negation this Sigardicade, because of course Lavinia will counter it. Oh no, opponent don't. Okay, I wouldn't mind a Saga either. Any payoff now is okay. Well, our plan was to get Lavinia into play, and she's there. So pretty happy. Okay, sure. So they can't. So to keep in mind, they can't force of vigor anything. They can't force of negation anything, and they can't evoke their grief, because those will all be countered by Lavinia's passive. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. So that's great news. And they're also down to 10, so I don't think they have any 2 mana flash threats. Sometimes they do have like Brazen Borrower or Sky Turtle, but I believe Sky Turtle is 3 mana in order to bounce a creature. Kraken in. Let's probably play out this Inkmoth Nexus past the turn. Okay, that's a good sign. That means they're not bouncing Lavinia this turn. Okay, that's kind of terrifying. Hopefully we just draw like a relic or something too. I wouldn't any protection piece. They can't endurance off of that mana, so I'm not super worried about a flash threat to Lavinia. So honestly tempted mate and crack, but I don't think that's going to make the difference. I think they might be holding up hardcast force of negation as well. Play the land, please. No. Oh yes, bless. Whew. If we get to untap here, I'm really happy with the shape we're in. Clearly, I should be playing Spirit of the Labyrinth. Shut off to them cycling times in a turn. What am I thinking? Okay, sure. So they probably kill the Sigardicade here. Makes sense to me. That's fine. We boarded out the chip correct. Yep. Okay, so we can fetch with the Windswept completely fine. If they get to Living End, we certainly don't. Luckily, the plan is to not let them Living End. That tap. We are just going to crack in for 2 with Lavinia, and I will play out the Paladin because that makes and we're gonna hold this Giver up in our hand to represent Spell Pierce. Okay, sure. So it seems super unlikely that they can kill us. They could potentially Subtlety, Kraken for 4. Because they could have Subtlety, that's why we're not playing this Giver pre-combat. Okay. So we get to protect Lavinia, pro colorless, and they should be dead. Yep, that'll do it. Okay. And game 3. Let's hope it goes well. So here we are. I don't think we change anything. There is potentially a reality where we want to have the extra Ornithopter as a 0-drop, just to speed up our hand a little bit, but I don't think that's what this matchup is about post-board. Because you're not just trying to kill them on turn 3, like, it's nice if you can. Hushbringer isn't as relevant to Foundation Breaker. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty okay with this. All right. I like leaving the Cauldron because that means you only need the Stoneforge to start slamming the door shut rather than needing the Colossus Hammer and an Equipper. This hand is so close. This hand is insanely close. They're keeping 7. If we draw any land or a creature, like a 0-drop creature, we're in excellent shape. I'm going to do it. I think the upside's high enough. We also have 2 hate pieces, so if they grief us, we're okay with that. Yeah, so, and they exile the second grief. All right, so what do you take here, opponent? You probably take one of them. Yep, Lavinia makes sense to me. All right, that's pretty nice. So we can Flooded Strand, Memnite, Drum, play Steel Shaper's Gift, get, what do we want to get? I mean, I know we're doing it, but probably a hammer. Okay, fine with a hammer, and pass the turn. All right, let's see if we get to put this Meddling play. If we get to put Meddling Mage into play, I'm really happy with our spot. Shock that. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do this. Does it resolve? Wow, it does. Living, and I will 6 here. So now we can Pure Steel Paladin, play the Paradise Mantle, draw a card. That gives us Metalcraft as well. And if we hit a land, we also get to attack with a hammered creature in it. Okay, that's super obnoxious, I'm not gonna lie. Once again, if we draw literally any land, we can still play the Paladin, please. All right, I'll take. Yeah, we need to do this. And so now we actually have the kill next turn, because we can play the hammer, draw a card, and then animate the Ink Moth, move the mantle. We don't even technically need to move the mantle because we don't need to give it flying again. But we're in pretty good shape. They're dead. They need to have another Force of Vigor, or they need to have Force of Vigor. All right, well, they could certainly have it, and that's fine. But we're still going to get to draw cards. Blacksmith skill, put the game away. We did not. I wonder if we're supposed to play Paladin here. Draw 2 cards. I don't know. Okay. Force of Vigor. Force of Negation. Okay. We get to crack in for 2/4 here. And then we get to crack in for 6 next turn, putting them to 4. All right. So any Stoneforge, Hammer, or Steel Shaper's Gift does it here, unless they have another counterspell, which, I mean, I don't hate that. Just draw another card. Like, honestly, are we just supposed to Pure Steel Paladin, draw 3 cards? I don't hate Ancestral Recall, because if we leave the Paladin in our hand and they are able to Living End, then they just get to grief the Paladin on the way out anyway. Well, we drew a land. So I'm not going to attack with the metal. I will attack with these 2 Paladins, though, because that's 5. Yep. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's why we did this. I was worried about the Flash Endurance. It's one of those moments. So now we get to put this over here, because in no world are we blocking with that. Play a Giver. Play a Saga, and no reason not to equip this, right? And now if they, that's great too, because now if they Living End, then we get the Pure Steel back. Certainly be in a worse spot. Okay, that probably means they don't have the answer, likely going to. All right, what we got? Okay, Saga, I don't hate it. Play that out too. And I think I do just hold up Pierce, or represent skill, but they don't have a whole lot of choice in the matter, so I don't think we play the Giver out. I think we just pass. We could attack with these 2 Paladins. They probably block here. They take 2, go to 6. We move the Shadow Spear. I don't hate. Getting 2 Paladins back is not bad either. And gaining 3 life is far from irrelevant. So this, okay, and pass the turn. So we're gonna make a construct here on their end step. And that should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep in mind we can also just get a relic off of the Saga as well. Yep. All right, well, I will make it now then. Save 1 card in hand. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think we just go pro green there. Pro green, make a guy. We can play a land to animate the Nexus as well. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can attack with all of those and the construct. Make a guy. So this will be a lethal threat and these will be lethal threats. That said, what if we just go like this? Pro green, equip there, and then just kill them. Yeah, that seems better. And that should do it. Okay, so they have exactly Brazen Borrower? Doesn't look like it. Okay. All right, and that's how you beat Living End. You draw your hate pieces. I did keep a 1-lander there, but it had the Springleaf Drum and Moto-Red. Okay, yeah, so that match I feel like is a great instance of knowing when it's appropriate to keep a somewhat like a greedy hand, because it was close, but because we know they can grief us, having redundant pieces of Meddling Mage and Lavinia is really important. Additionally, when they had to use a lot of cards in order to actually kind of disrupt, and then we were able to just kind of get there. So I'm a huge fan of kind of doing. Okay, so I know I like to keep greedy hands sometimes, but this is not one of them. This is just an unkeepable hand, so we're gonna mulligan. This, however, is much better. I think we put the planes back because I think we're gonna get a reality chip potentially off of the Strand or off the Stoneforge Obosh. All right, so Eldrazi Tron is my guess. So we are just gonna go ahead and play this Hollowed Fountain and play, yeah, sure. No, not Stoneforge. I'm gonna play Aid. And then I'm just gonna run the Memnite out too, because they might just, if they have like 2 chalices, they'll just go chalice on 0, chalice on 1. But the upside is they played Relic of Progenitus against us. So if they do have a second Eldrazi Temple Thought-Knots here, we're also okay because we just get to play Stoneforge Mystic, or because we just get to start sagaing them, start, pumping out the train constructs. So what you got? Warping Witch, sure. Okay, I guess they don't want to. All right, so here we're just gonna play Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to just get it here because they're dead next turn. Pretty hard not to do this because we can. Yeah, this is just creatures with power or toughness 1 or less. Okay, that one's dead too. All right, well, that's frustrating, but that's fine. Yeah, we'll just make a construct, and then we have. So I think I do just make a construct here in case they needle. Well, if they just needle the Saga, then we can moth kill them anyway. So yeah. They get a needle, they name Saga, we Ink Moth kill them because we'll animate the Ink Moth, and then 1 hammer will come in off of the Saga, will attach it to the Ink Moth, and then even if they have Warping Wheel, we can flash in another hammer. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sure. And I don't think there's anything in their deck that can stop this, so we will go ahead and animate hammer, put it right there, play out land, make sure we do that. That's why we have all these stops, to make sure that we don't accidentally click through like we almost did. So E-Tron, you say. I know some people were asking for some more fringe matchups, and this is a good one. So I like March because not only does it answer Chalice, but almost always they have Karn the Great Creator, so being able to answer a bridge is really nice. Needle is great because it answers Blast Zone, potentially there Urza Sagas if we want it, and of course it answers Karn the Great Creator. I don't hate Meddling Mage for the same reason. Hushbringer is not great, but I don't hate Meddling Mage because oftentimes if you can name Karn the Great Creator, they have a ton of trouble beating you. I don't think Memnite's very good. I like actually Esper Sentinels. We probably leave 1 just as a body. We'll actually trim these. I like bringing in a couple skills. I don't think it's strictly necessary, but we can also trim Age Run and just keep all the zeros. Make sure we're going fast. And yeah, we'll try it. Obviously, I haven't played the matchup a ton, but this seems completely fine to me. One thing you do want to keep in mind, though, is if you have Paradise Mantle, and you want to put it on a non-artifact creature if possible, because that way Karn the Great Creator does not shut it off. And yeah, so we have a Memnite, go get hammer. Yeah, we can potentially kill on 3. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we'll do that. Steel Shaper's Gift, play out the Memnite. Assuming they don't play Chalice on 0. Okay. Yeah, get a hammer. And pass the turn. So we are probably just playing Saga next turn. Okay. So Reality or Matter Reshaper. Sure. Oh, wow. Okay. They can't Blast Zone me. So I don't Nexus Hammer Shadow Spear. Saga's really good too, though. Yeah. I think I like Saga. And just play out the 1s. Play out the 1s in case of Chalice of the Void. I think they would have played Chalice of the Void last turn if they had it, but they could always just draw it this turn, and then it's not great for us. We can march the Chalice, obviously, but right, sure. So I am just going to play the Plains and pass the turn. That was incorrect, by the way. I was supposed to 1000% play Inkmoth Nexus, so it's not sick next turn, but live and learn. I play a little less tightly in leagues than I do at events because, sure, Memnite is down. That's what you like to see. All right, Eldrazi 1, 2, 5. So they can smash her here. Thought-Knot Seer. Do I care? We could march it in response because we can pay, but I don't think we do. I think we just let this happen and we just make a 3/3 and then make a 4/4. Easy take. Seems like an easy attack here. And during end step, of course, make us a 3/3. Meddling Mage I do not hate, but we are absolutely making a construct. So I don't hate Needle name Karn the Great Creator here either. I think that's pretty good. Karn the Creator, play that, crash in for 5. Hate it. I think we can just kill them with the normal attacks, because these can turn into 6/6s. One can be a 7. Ooh, got like a Wasteland Strangler. Oh, that's way less exciting. Excited when I saw the. Okay, well, Eldrazi Tron, everyone. We can play that. Play that. I think we'd play Giver. We could. I don't even think we care about All Is Dust either, which is funny. But if we name All Is Dust, that means they can't really do anything. We can. Okay, so I think we just attack for. So we can X equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we can blow them out really badly here. Hit you for 10. Okay, so we exile 1. Get a plains. That one equals 3. Done. This does say die, right? Yeah. And I don't think there's a not to animate here just to get the extra point. Okay, they got to land, so they can still cast everything in their deck. We have lethal power in play. Most draws off the top are good. This Blast Zone is pretty obnoxious, but sure, I will take 4 points of. All right, yeah, whatever. Blows up 3 artifacts. These turn into 2/2s. They take 4. We're still ahead in the race. Okay, don't hate it. All right, what you got? All right, any artifact in my deck. Stoneforge would be. I don't think there's a reason not to play it. Pass turn. Yep, so any artifact in my deck is great. Hammer's good. Stoneforge is good. Steel Shaper's Gift, which I believe I have both in still. Steel Shaper's Gift is also excellent. I feel like they were supposed to attack there, but fine. Okay. I should have been a little more specific. little bit more. All right, that's a good one. Kind of. Yeah, I'll take it. Card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So if you were wondering why Paradise Mantle is in the deck, this is a big reason. Because it was Black Lotus that drew a card. Let's see what we draw too. Ooh. Okay. So we just get to kill them? Yeah, I'm just going to go for the kill. Cool. I don't think it has enough text. Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah, Urza's Saga is a powerful card. Pure Steel Paladin is a powerful card. All right, well, let's see if we can keep it rolling. Played against Burn, against Living End, and against E-Tron. Kind of go from there. But I'll see y'all in the next round. All right, and we are back for round 4, Eat of the Dead. We won the die roll. Great plan. I try to execute that plan as much as possible. This hand sucks. Obosh the Prey Piercer, so it's probably a prowess deck. I think we keep this hand. Bottom the Memnite. If they are a Blood Moon deck, I'd rather stare at the Windswept Heath as a mountain. I'm just gonna play the Giver. Yeah, because I don't want to get blown out by Fury that badly. Lightning Bolt, sure. Aid? Nope, no aid. I think I'm actually gonna get a reality chip here. Strangely enough. Yeah, I don't hate it. And yeah, we'll play out the right. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just Mono-Red Prowess. Monkey E. We are just going to take the hit. All right. I don't really point in this game. I think I'm okay. It's not really what we want to see, but sure. What is on top? Well, we want that one for sure. So I would like any equipper in the. Luckily, there are still 8. March of. I don't. Spell cost. Exile top X. You may put up to 2. Play up to 2 of those cards until. So they. Oh, gross. Gross. So Bone Crusher and Fury, those are good hits. All right, this card, I don't know. Okay, so they pitch Spike Fields to the Bone Crusher. Okay, yep, so they're just killing the reality chip. This makes a lot of sense. It hasn't been nearly as bad as Tank based on how we've drawn. We're going to draw Stoneforge next turn, which is nice. Let's see if they play out this Bone Crusher or if they care more about getting a Monkey Dash. Okay, so they care more about getting the Monkey Dash. I wonder if we are just supposed to block. I don't think we're supposed to. Because yeah, so if they That means they can't Bone Crusher because they played Sokenzin, and that puts them down another card. Maybe I do block. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I think this is one of the few times we actually do block. And now the Bone Crusher is gone, which means this Stoneforge might... They only have 3 cards in hand, and one is a... All right, let's see if we can get... All right, what you got for me, opponent? The Stoneforge survey says... Oh, okay. Stop drawing Furies, opponent. Please. So they pitched the Ragavan to quote-unquote draw the Fury. So they're going to have to pitch a red card in their hand to kill the Fury, or to kill the Stoneforge. Okay, so they're pitching the Bosh. Am I reading that right? Okay, yeah. Happy, but I'm also not like too broken up about this. So we take one from our own Traitorous Memnite. Don't think there's a reason not to fetch here. Tapped Hallowed Fountain. Okay, and I don't think there's a reason not to play out the Aid. All right, any creature. I do mean it. I'm not gonna be picky. Okay, that makes sense. So they play the Pyro. They're gonna draw 2 cards. And what are the 2 cards? So I'm just taking one here. All right. Any creature in my deck, you're killing me here. You are killing me. All right, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potentially next turn. We're probably dead. That being said, I'm pretty happy about. I'm pretty okay with this matchup. I needed them not to draw double Fury. So sideboarding. I think Hushbringer is actually very good because it stops the Season Pyro, it stops Fury, and I think that's probably enough. It also gains life and flies, which is relevant. They didn't fire up the Den, so they have a removal spell. Okay, or not. Sure. I feel like they were just supposed to put me to... Okay, well, I'll take it. I'm gonna do this now. Hope it works. And concede. Oh, now do it. Well, trying to think what draw we have in the deck. Stoneforge would actually be pretty good because it would let us get... it would let us grab a Shadow Spear. You got it, opponent. You got it. All right. So the good news is we can cut Ornithopters. So I think Hushbringer is good. I don't know if I want all 3, but I think some number are good for sure. I want some number of Blacksmith Skill, probably all 4. The Pierce I think is pretty poor. Pierce might actually be okay because it stops their draw 2s as well. Maybe. All right, it's closer than I think. Shadow Spear or cut the Ornithopters for sure. I could see, sure. I don't know if we need the gifts, and we can probably trim maybe an Aid or maybe a Sentinel. On the play, I like Sentinel a lot. Probably a Memnite. It's a Ragavan deck, obviously, but it's close. Maybe we just don't bring in the extra Pierce. Let's do the thing. Man, I would have liked an Ursa Saga. That was a weird series of draw steps, I feel like, but oh well. Let's see how game 2 goes. All right, we are here for game 2. Yes, I would like to play first. And what do we have? I mean, this is a pretty easy keep, right? We can turn 3 kill them with just double hammering a chip. All right. Okay, so that is interesting because... yeah, I think... So the problem is if we play Hushbringer, then Reality Chip won't cause Sigarda's Aid to trigger and put it on. So I think we just pass here and hope they tap out. Flash in Chip, flash in 2 hammers. That was the reason we play Hushbringer, but I'm also fine just playing Hushbringer next turn. I don't want that card anyway. You can fetch that away. Play a Sentinel. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with this. I don't want to get blown out by a Smash to Smithereens here, so I think just crack. I think they are going to have enough trouble just dealing with this. X equals 5. Wow. Okay. I will draw a card. It's not a bad one. All right. That's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Heart of Fire. What? Discard your hand, then exile the top 3. So they are targeting that. I would like to draw a card. They've played a land and they are tapped. I will let that happen. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, so, okay. Spell Pierce, I think I want all of them if they're going to do something like that. Yeah, all right. Note to self, they did have Blood Moon as well. Yeah, so I'm fine with a Spell Pierce over a skill. And I think I'm fine maybe trimming a Sentinel. Trim a Sentinel for a skill. It's that much. So we're just going to submit. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. Probably should have. Oh, there. This might be a matchup where we want the second drum over the Paradise Mantle because they do have a lot of ways to just kill our stuff. But being able to tutor up a white source against the Blood Moon deck with Stoneforge Mystic could be really relevant. And of course, course it's all right. Yeah. So we will keep this. Hopefully we will draw another white source or another white source at some point and a hammer. But I like turn 1 Esper Sentinel, turn 2 Hushbringer. Kind of part of the reason. Oh boy. And I will absolutely take the trade here. Offer it. I don't think they will, but they might. Sure. So they tap out to kill my Esper Sentinel so that I don't draw a card. You get to crack it with the monkey, get a card. Potentially. They could play Giver. Giver's pretty good. I would like to draw that. That makes sense to me. Okay. So play Inkmoth here. Play Hushbringer. So this will shut off their Seasoned Pyromancers as well. There's no reason for us to block because the Giver protects. So yeah, we can play Hollowed Fountain, play Pure Steel Paladin, play Colossus Hammer, draw a card. Yeah, Boldly, no blocks. That wouldn't have quite killed them, but would have been real close. I wonder if they're going to be are they thinking about it? I hope they're playing. Yeah, it doesn't trigger. Love to see it. Hushbringer, excellent card. All right. Okay, well, that's simpler. Draw a card. So not quite. I don't think we want to play out the Memnite. I think we just want to crack in for 1 to gain 1. We can 6 here. So we will have lethal with the Inkmoth next turn if they don't kill it. Oh, crap. So they have Fury too. That's pretty gross if they have the Fury too. All right. Oh my gosh. Stop. Stop. Why are they hitting all good cards? I know they didn't want to play the Sigardas 8. Yeah. All right. Saw that one coming. Okay. Oh, we are not playing Shadow Spear. So we can play Paladin, Memnite, Animate, Hack, not quite enough. Play Hushbringer. Can't do both, which is unfortunate. We can also shock this in, play the second Hushbringer, and then we can play Paladin next turn, Memnite, Animate. So Paladin. So we need to. All right. Yeah. So we would need. We need a mana source here. If we have the mana source, I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I do think I will trade off with the Ragavan though, or I don't want to. So I want to force them to tap the Giver at least. At least they did that. Yep. Hushbringer down. White source. I think we're dead. I think we're dead here. But I think we have 1 more turn. I mean, if it's exactly Paradise Mantle, then we've got a shot because then we can play it, equip it. Yeah, okay, well, we're definitely doing this. No question here. Obosh in hand, sure. I mean, I'm blocking. Pretty easy block. That Giver is okay. So, that's not gonna do it, but we can play it. And we did fetch up the basic with that, so probably just gonna throw the storage under the, and this is odd numbers, right? Yeah, pretty sure we're dead. Don't quite deal lethal damage, right? So we're not dead. So if they had cracked in yeah, I feel like they were supposed to attack with everything. Whatever. Good games. Let's see if we can salvage the 4-1 out of this. I will see y'all there. All right, let's see if we can pull out the 4-1. We are on the play. We have a Sentinel into double Stoneforge Mystic on the play. This seems pretty easy keep. Yeah, so we will shock this in, play the Sentinel, and pass the turn. So I'm thinking we want to Stoneforge Mystic for Kaldra immediately. Force them to kill the first one, then we can play a second one. Oh, is this just Murktide? Oh, yeah, still just gonna. Yeah, let's just force the action. I'm just going to keep the Sentinel around. It's an artifact from Metalcraft. If they're missing on lands, then we're in great shape. Yeah, so we're just going to draw a free card here. Okay, it's kind of like a land. Yeah, just force them to kill that. Now if we rip an 8 or something, we're in great shape. Okay, so kill both my guys. Sure. Hopefully we have a land here. All right, that's not bad. So we get to play Giver, can play Drum, and play Stone. And this one I think we'll get a Shadow Spear and pass the turn. All right, and so this is why I like the Kaldra so much in the deck, because it just forces them to have removal spells at every single point. They have to immediately kill the Stoneforge as well. It looks like they are. Yep, sure. But now, of course, we have Aid, we have Paladin, we have a lot of really good outs here. Yeah, if we just draw a Paladin off the top, the game's over. 1. So we just play this. Okay, I don't hate it. Play Memnite, play Shadow Spear probably. And we get to just pass here. Now, if they can't slam the door here, we're also in really good shape because we can just throw the chip onto the Memnite and protect with the Giver, and go from there. This looks like an expressive iteration, yeah. And so it depends on what's on top. We might go that way. We're taking 6, which is not something I'm excited about, but we also get to tap the chip to use it for mana off the drum, which leaves us 1 extra creature. Island, yeah. Once again, hopefully we just hit a, yeah, okay, can't block. We do get a shuffle off the Steel Shapers if we want. Oh, we definitely want that one. Interesting. All right. And we're not blocking. So as long as they don't have their 3rd lightning bolt, then we should be in pretty good shape. I don't know why I'm putting that out in the universe, but here we are. That's a sign of strength you hate to see. Do they have a bolt? Doesn't look like. All right, well, and off the top. Probably play the Giver off the top. No counterspell. Oh my gosh, they had it. Of course they did. Why would they? So we are going to fetch here and hope they don't have a 2nd. I would be shocked if they did. Yep. All right, we are dead. Yep, so piles of removal spells into like the Dragon Rage Channeler Rush is a really good way for them to kind of tackle this matchup. With that in mind, Blacksmith Skill is gigantic beating. We get to cut this Pierce because Blacksmith Skills is better. And I do like Relic and Needle. Because I've cleared up some of the room in the sideboard, I'm fine bringing in the Needle because we want to have 1 extra card to cut. The Ornithopters are pretty bad. Trim a Drum, and since we don't care about any specific equipment, we can always trim a Steel Shaper's Gift pretty freely. You can always cut a Steel Shaper's Gift or 2 if you aren't particularly specific in what equipment you want. So yeah, I think that's about it. If I had like removal that I could cast on turn 1, then I might consider bringing in some of that, but since you have the marches and I don't think you necessarily need the removal, I think it's totally reasonable just do this. Yeah, I mean, it's double Esper Sentinel, Stoneforge Mystic. We're a little soft to Blood Moon, but that's you don't throw back a good hand just because it's soft to Blood Moon against Murktide. If it's against Blood Moon deck, you know, maybe that's a little different. So 1 drop here. All right. Well, I think I'm just going to play this Esper Sentinel and a tapped Hallowed Fountain. Let me draw some cards. All right, so next turn we are probably just going Paladin, potentially. We are likely going to get to draw at least a card, if not 2, depending on what they do here. Like they could tap out to kill a Sentinel and only let us draw 1 card. Or they could do that. That's gross too. All right, they did pitch a DRC to do that. Okay, so they have 3 DR. Stop. Just let me draw a Relic of Progenitus to punish. I'm just going to get all 4 card types on turn. Looks like it. Okay. I guess the good news is they're down to 1, 2. They'll be back up to 3 cards, but I've had to use a lot of resources to deal with my 2 1s at least. All right, take 3. Okay, so we can just go Stoneforge Sigardus Aid here and get a Hammer. Yeah, I think it's got to be Hammer. They have to attack, which is super relevant. Okay. EE on 1. That's pretty gross. But if I can force them to pop it, then I probably win. All right. Yeah, I don't think we have much choice here. I think we have to force the action. We are just going to put it in this way. This way they can't counterspell the hammer on the way down. And now if they pop the EE, they also kill all their permanents, which looks like is what's happening. Okay, so this is fine. So we've managed to stabilize, kind of. They're down to 2 cards. So are we, but our 2 cards are hopefully better, and we'll see. Okay, well, that's a real good follow-up. Yeah, I generally think the matchup's favorable, but there are certainly draws. It's not overwhelming towards Hammer. It's just close. So we do have a lot of very, very good draws. Any equipment, of course, is excellent. Any equipment's great. A Relic would be insane here, too. Okay, sure. Not really what we want, but not going to complain either. Just going to crack in for 1 here. Okay, so Stoneforge Saga. Yeah, any equipment is a really good draw. Because, of course, we get to draw an extra card. Okay, Spirebluff Canal. Okay, not really what we're looking for, but crack in for 3. Why not? Maybe we can draw out a counterspell with the aid. Draw on 2. Sure. Once again, any hammer. A Saga earlier in the game would have been great. Looks like, Ledger Shredder, sure. That one's fine. Right, what else we got? I'm not fetching here because Reality Chip is a pretty insane draw. Oh my god. Not really what we wanted to see, but is what it is. I don't want to run this Pure Steel into a Fury. No attacks. I probably will fetch here. Maybe we don't need to. Okay. I would love just drawing Yeah, any equipment, once again. I'd be happy with any equipment. EE on 1 again. Oh, cast 2 Archmage Charms. I'm not convinced that they have any left. Yeah, I'm down to fetch here just to thin a little bit. Good one. I knew we'd find a good card eventually. They're in the deck. Once again, saving the Pure Steel because I don't want to just run it out into a Fury. I'd rather they hard cast the Fury, potentially. But it looks like a Murktide, which is terrifying. That was actually the refetch, of course. They could have a second Murktide here as well. I think we teetered out a little bit too long, but we'll see. We got some draws. It's not really one of them. All right. Play that and pass the turn. And I'm sure they don't have a removal spell. I'm sure they don't. All right. So we needed to not draw land 9. That would have, I think, been step 1. We needed the Saga like 6 turns ago. Okay, sure. So they were trying to find a removal spell, would be my guess. Also, I wish Blacksmith Skill. Okay, well, that should do it. And let's animate. Blacksmith Skill would have been so good here, too. GG's. So that was unfortunate, but a 3-2. It's one of those things, you know. We beat Living End, Burn, and Eldrazi Tron. Lost to Murktide and what was our other loss to? Oh, the Mono-Red Obosh deck. But yeah, so pretty happy with the deck still. I think I might try trimming one of the Hushbringers maybe to put the Spell Pierce back in the board, play a Ginger Brute. I don't hate it. Give it a shot. Give the cookie some love. But yeah, until next time, you know, appreciate y'all's support, and I'll see you. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. I always appreciate the feedback.